Hello everybody and welcome back to another weekend reading vlog. I am of course excited to be starting another reading vlog. I hope you guys are excited too. This weekend is again going to be pretty chill. I still don't really have any assignments due in like any of my classes or anything, so I'm kind of just chilling and reading, and it's gonna be a good time. So I guess I will just quickly talk about the two books that I'm planning on reading this weekend, and then we'll get into it. For once, this will probably be a rather short intro, so that's always good. So this first book I have here, I definitely think I'm going to be finishing it this weekend, and that is The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. I am in the middle of this book currently. I'm on page 241 and I'm enjoying it a lot. Like so much. I'm so glad that I finally decided to start Mistborn. I love the magic system already. Like there are a couple of things that I'm still a bit confused on, but I'm sure maybe that will get cleared up as I continue to read more. I really like the two kind of main characters that we're following and the dynamic between them, because it's kind of a mentor-mentee thing. Is that the person being mentored? I think they're the mentee. And I really like seeing that because our main character Vin hasn't really had like a good older kind of person in her life to look up to, is sort of in that kind of way, and I'm glad that she kind of gets that with our other main character Kelsier. I also really like the humor in this book. Like there are a lot of things that make me laugh, and I'm just having such a good time. And then this other book, which I'm also super excited about, it is a new release. I don't know when exactly it came out, just sometime earlier this month, but I've honestly, like, I don't want to say I've been killing it with reading the new releases recently, but I've kind of been killing it because I never get to new releases in a timely manner. You know, it's always like a couple months later and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'll pick that up. But I've read 2 new releases this month, and that's just like, that's unheard of basically. But I have another one, so we might kick it up to 3. And that is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. I've been seeing this book everywhere, honestly. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I think it was, I saw Ashley from A Frolic Through Fiction talk about this in one of her recent vlogs, and like she talked me into buying it because at first I was like, I don't know if I want to like go buy a new hardcover of this book. Like I kind of just want to wait for a paperback or whatever, but I was like, no, I need to read it now. So I went out and bought this earlier this week, and I've been so excited to start it, but I wanted to save it for the vlog. So I believe in this book we're following a Cambridge professor, and she is writing the world's first encyclopedia of fairies. So she goes to this like small town with the, you know, intent of studying the fae and whatnot, and apparently there is a dashing and insufferably handsome academic rival who manages to charm the townsfolk, muddle Emily's research, and utterly confound and frustrate her. Like, doesn't that sound so fun? I am so excited to jump into this book. I think it's gonna be such a good time. Honestly, as soon as I read the back and I heard there was an insufferably handsome but kind of annoying man, I was like, yeah, I need to read that book. So here are the reading plans for this weekend. I do think I'll probably like end up picking something else at some point. I don't know though, because I feel like every time I'm like, oh yeah, I can read those books in a weekend, I can't. So I'm thinking I'll just kind of see what happens. I do think, however, I'm going to go to the library tomorrow morning. Thought we could have a fun little library visit. I haven't been to the library since I got back in town, and I'm so excited about it. And maybe I'll pick up something there that I want to read in this vlog as well. Who knows? We'll just have to see. I'm just very excited for this weekend, so I hope you guys are excited as well. Currently, it is 1 o'clock on Friday afternoon. I think my goal for today is just to make like whatever progress I can in the Final Empire. I did read a bit of this book this morning, and like those last couple of chapters that I had been reading, they really have like drawn me in even more. So I'm very excited to just like sit down and read a ton of this book today. So I'm going to go start reading, and I will give you an update when I feel an update is necessary, you know? So see you in a bit. Okay, so it is now like 4:40. I have made progress in the Final Empire. I am up to page 363 and I have been enjoying this book still. Like, my opinion of it has not changed. It's great. I don't know if it's gonna be a 4 or a 5-star yet. Obviously it depends on how the ending of this book goes. Recently, not like too much has been revealed, but we have been getting a bit more like information about like the backstory of our two main characters, and they've been going through it. Like, let me tell you, the two main characters in this book have so much trauma and I feel so bad for them. I just always think it's interesting to see like how characters got to where they are now and how they're kind of dealing with that trauma, even though it's not necessarily being dealt with in a good way. There are some questionable decisions being made, mainly by Kelsier. I just always think it's interesting to see like how issues from the past are like still manifesting even. Okay, damn it, what was I saying? Right, I was talking about just how bad I feel for these two main characters. But obviously I'm excited to see how / if they're going to grow and develop over the course of the series. They both have like major trust issues, obviously, like from the things that happened in their past. So it's just nice to see them like, albeit hesitantly, but like still trusting each other and like learning to trust another person like that. And you can kind of see that throughout like the entire crew of people that you're following like as well, because you have two main characters, but then you have like the crew of, did I even tell you what this book was about? So essentially this book is kind of in like a post-apocalyptic kind of world. That's the vibes that I'm getting from it, because there's this one point in time when I think Kelsier was telling Vin about the fact that like leaves used to be green, and that was like a foreign concept to her. And at one point he was describing like flowers and what they looked like, and she was like, that's so weird. And I just think that's really funny. Like, obviously it's also very sad, but the way it's presented like is kind of funny. But post-apocalyptic world, yes, because in this world like the bad guy won. Like, you had the chosen one, he failed, he did not do his job, and the bad guy won. And you're following this dude named Kelsier as he is leading a rebellion against the Dark Ruler, the Lord Ruler? I don't know what they refer to him as, I don't remember, but he's leading a rebellion. He gets Vin involved, and he gets Vin involved, and you're kind of just following this like heist story essentially as they go to steal like this very precious metal that they need, because in this world the like magic system is called allomancy, and it's basically where they like ingest metals, and depending on what metal they ingest they can like do different things. And some people, they can only burn one specific type of metal, like they can't do any of the others. They're called mistings, but like the name of the series implies, there are people called Mistborn that can burn all 8 of the metals. But there's this like other metal, and they're kind of attempting to lead a heist to, one, overtake the Lord Ruler, but also they want this precious metal because it's really cool and also gives them cool abilities, which I will leave you to figure out on your own, because I think that one is so cool. And it's just such a, like, I love the magic system in this already. It's just very inventive. And I heard somebody kind of say that this magic system reads like sci-fi almost, which I don't know if I fully agree with that, but it definitely, like, you could take it in that direction. And as somebody who doesn't read sci-fi, I really, like, it's pretty sick, I can't lie. Actually, in the time since I last talked to you guys, I went and I ordered the 2nd and 3rd books in this series, because like it's gonna be a 4 or 5 star, you know what I'm saying? So I need the 2nd and 3rd ones to start whenever I feel like doing that. So I told myself I was on a book buying ban in January, but I've bought like 8 books. So obviously I gave up on that and I bought the books. I think I might be able to finish this book today. I'm kind of hoping so, just because like I'm really into it and I would like to continue to read it. And then tomorrow I can start this book, which I'm also very excited about. Yeah, those are the plans. So I'll probably talk to you guys tomorrow morning or something. We'll see. At any rate, I'll talk to you when I talk to you.
Thank you.
everybody, so it is Saturday morning now. I'm here to quickly do my makeup because I literally have like 20 minutes before me and Cass are doing our live to talk about the name of the win for the book club. So I needed to multitask this morning, so doing my makeup. I know the lighting's not great over here. Well, it could be worse. I don't know. This is just like where I have a mirror in my room, so it's what we're working with. But I do have an update. So I have made it to page, what page am I on? 578 of the Final Empire. I have, I think, 60 pages left, and I am in a state of distress. So I just reached part 5. Like, I am at the beginning of part 5. I haven't read any more of it. So the thing that happened at the end of part 4, I was like, mouth open. I was like, I don't even know what to do with this information, because damn, I don't know how distressed I should be, because I don't know if what I'm concerned about like will actually happen. I don't know. But damn Brandon Sanderson for making me care about these characters so quickly. Like, it's been one book. I really am just like super invested in these characters now. Like, last night Vin was saying something about her backstory and I was literally tearing up. No tears fell, but there were tears in my eyes. Like, I was so sad. And I don't know if it's because it was 1 a.m. and I was just like tired and I needed to go to sleep, or like I was just so upset for her. I was like, stop talking, I'm gonna cry. Honestly, like, I'm having such a good time reading it. Literally, I read, I think, like 300 pages yesterday, which any book that I can read like 300 pages of in a day, like, that's a good book. You know what I'm saying? So I think I'm definitely going to be giving it a, where's my brush? Don't mean to leave you in suspense, but I need my brush. I lied, I think it's in here. Here we go. Oh, but I think I'm gonna give it a 5 star. So absolutely, very excited to continue. I don't know when I really last updated you guys on what my thoughts on the book were, but just know that, like, it's really good. Like, I'm not shocked that it's really good. I had a feeling I was really gonna like it, and for once that feeling is true. It's always just like so sad when you think you're gonna like absolutely love a book and then it just does not live up to that, but I feel like this one definitely does, and that is such a good feeling. Also, I think since the last time I talked to you, there's kind of been another, like, not heavily, but there's kind of been another POV introduced, and I really like this POV, and I like the addition of this POV because it definitely gives you like a lot more insight into house politics in this world, and I really like, I enjoy that a lot. I also like some of the character dynamics that I'm seeing develop. I don't know how to feel about them or who to trust, but I was kind of like, oh, that right there is a concept, and I am excited to see how that develops over the course of the series, because it's just it's a very interesting dynamic, but I'm excited for it. So yes, everything I've been really, I don't know if I want to say like enjoying, because this book is honestly like, it's really sad. And there's a lot of like depressing things happening because that's just like the state of the world. Like, these people have been oppressed for like 1,000 years, and there's like public executions and people being beheaded just like in the middle of, you know, the street, and you're like, what's going on? So like, saying that I'm enjoying it seems wrong almost, but I also feel like there's also this kind of funny undertone to a lot of the things that like the characters say and talk about, like the camaraderie between like the main group of people that you're following. So I feel like it's definitely a really interesting dichotomy to see like all of this bad stuff that's going on in the world kind of being offset by like the people that you're following and just how they choose to deal with that situation in their own life. And I'm really like, it's just good. I do feel like it took me a while to like fully get into the book. I wouldn't say like halfway, but like maybe around like where I started the book yesterday. So I was on page like 240 when I was like fully like in it, you know? In the grand scheme of things, that's not like that late. I don't know. It took me a minute, but after that minute, you know, I was in it. I'm really enjoying it. So it is currently 9:45. Me and Cass have our live show at 10, so I need to like hurry up. But then after that, I'm going to finish the Final Empire. Then I think I'm gonna start, what's that one called? Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which I'm also super excited for. Definitely very different vibes, as you can tell. And then later today, I think I've decided I am going to go to the library, which I'm very excited about. I love a good library visit. Obviously, you guys are coming with me. We're just gonna have a fun little trip to the library. It's just like one of my favorite things to do on the weekend. It's just so chill. And I always really enjoy it. So we're gonna go to the library. Anyway, I'm going to finish up my makeup real fast. Then I'm gonna jump on this live. And then I'm gonna finish this book. I'm so excited. Just finished The Final Empire, and I think I'm absolutely gonna have to give this book a 5 stars. Like, I really enjoyed the ending. I thought it was very action-packed. I was very excited to see what was gonna happen next. However, I kind of feel like this reads almost like a standalone. Like, there are bits of information that like you don't know, and there are things, you know, like said by characters that are like super ominous, and they're like, you're gonna whatever regret this, blah. But I feel like this almost reads like a standalone, which I just think is interesting. Honestly, I'm a little bit scared to read the rest of the series, but also like I'm very excited. However, I have heard that the second book is like pretty political, and I don't really know how I feel about books that are mainly focused on like the political aspects of things, but obviously we're gonna see. We're gonna find out. I do really enjoy like the characters that we've met so far. Like Vin is the main character, and she's the one that like we know the most about. And I do really enjoy her as a main character, but there are side characters that I would like to kind of know more about, because I kind of feel like in this first book, they kind of just have like one kind of personality trait that they're given, and that's kind of like, that's just who they are, you know? So I'm kind of hoping that we get more background on them. I don't know if we will though, but I would definitely enjoy seeing some more background on those characters. So I'm so glad that I decided to pick this book up. I thought it was very, like, it was just so good. If you've been thinking about checking out Mistborn, I'd recommend. I think I'm gonna take like a little bit of a break because I have been binging this book essentially for the last day, because I've read like 420 pages within like the last 24 hours of this book. So I'm gonna take a little bit of a break, but then we're gonna switch it up, and I'm going to get into this book, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which I think having something just very different from The Final Empire is gonna be good for this weekend, you know, keep the reading pace going. I'm very excited to jump into this one, and I think it's gonna be very fun. I will let you guys know when I do that. I think first of all, I'm going to update my reading journal, and yeah, that's all I have to say. We've started out the vlog well. I think this is also, right, my first 5-star of the year, because I reread obviously Chain of Gold and Chain of Iron, and those got 5 stars, but like since they're rereads, I feel like they don't really count. So first 5-star of the year. Maybe this will be the second one. Who knows? We'll see. back from the library, and I do have a bit of a library haul for you guys. So I think I like 7 books. First up, I picked up The Girl from the Other Side Volume 4. I read the first 3 volumes of this back in October for Vampathon, and I really enjoyed them, so I decided finally it was time to pick up another one. When I originally picked up some of the volumes, I picked up like all 11, and I think that was a little bit overwhelming for me, so I decided I'm gonna pick up 1 volume for now, and like they'll be there when I come back for them if I want to like continue. So might read this soon. Then I also picked up something that I don't know how I'm gonna feel about, honestly. I've heard things about it, and that is These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. I have constantly heard this being compared to ACOTAR. I think the plot progresses in quite a similar way. I think there is a lot of romance in this book. It's got fae, but I'm still excited to read it for myself and just kind of see what I think, because like obviously I really like ACOTAR, so maybe I'll enjoy this one too. I don't know, it doesn't look like too long. We're coming up on February, got some fantasy romance for February. Maybe, who knows? Next up, I picked up the first book in a series that I've been meaning to continue, or not continue, I'm meaning to start this series, and that is Bloodlines by Rochelle Mead. Now, read Vampire Academy last year, had such a good time with it. I love that series, honestly. A lot of you guys told me that Bloodlines is actually better than Vampire Academy, so definitely very interested to see what's up with this one, because I do believe it follows like one of my favorite characters, kind of, or like he's in it. I don't think he's quite the main character, but he's in it, and I really like him a lot, and I feel like he kind of got slighted at the end of Vampire Academy, so I want to see him, more of him in this series. I'm just excited about it. Next up, I picked up the floppiest and most like abused paperback, look at this thing, that I've ever set my eyes on, but that is Uprooted by Naomi her name is so hard to say, Naomi Novik. There we go. I've been wanting to pick up either this one or Spitting Silver for a while. I don't know if I'm gonna read this one soon, honestly, but I was interested, so I'm like, maybe if the thought occurs to me, I'll check it out, you know. There was the option to pick up like a hardcover of this, which would have been a lot like nicer looking, but the floppiness on this is just exquisite. Like, not that one, because like the binding's literally broken, but it's just, I'm probably contributing to the problem, but like it's so floppy, oh my god. The next one I picked up, I'm actually kind of excited about, to be honest, and that is The Slow Regard of Silent Things by Patrick Rothfuss. Now, I don't love The Name of the Wind. I gave it like a 3 stars. It just wasn't my favorite. But my like main issue with The Name of the Wind is the main character. Not a super big fan of the main character. However, this is a novella set like in the Kingkiller Chronicles, and it doesn't follow Kvothe. So I'm like, maybe I could enjoy this. This follows Ari, who we see like a couple of times in The Name of the Wind. I think this novella is technically 2.5 in the Kingkiller Chronicles, so like I think I'm supposed to read it after Wiseman's Fear. I looked up a Reddit thread and they were like, you know, you can read it without reading the Wiseman's Fear, but like it's probably better to read it after the Wiseman's Fear. However, I don't think I'm gonna read the Wiseman's Fear at least anytime soon, so I'd like to see how I feel about a book by Patrick Rothfuss that doesn't focus on a main character that I just don't vibe with. And I really liked Arya. I think she was one of like my favorite kind of side characters. There weren't like too many super well fleshed out side characters in like the first book, because it like the main character, like it's his story. He's telling the story about his life. So it makes sense that like the side characters aren't super fleshed out, but Ari was the one that intrigued me the most. I think this one is just like, you know, following her around. It is illustrated, so I'm like, it's kind of fun. I love a book with pictures in it, so I might read this one. I haven't decided yet. At any rate, it's rather short. Oh, God, every time I pick up a book like that looks like this, I'm like, oh, it's so short. And then it's like, actually, I'm 158 pages, which isn't like super long, but that's not super short. I still might read this, who knows? And then lastly, I picked up a book that actually I've already read. However, this is the annotated version of Northanger Abbey, and I don't really love Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen like that much. I think I gave it like a 3 star or something. It's just like, It was very slow for a lot of the book. However, I watched the 2007 adaptation and I love that movie so much, and it made me really appreciate the story of Northanger Abbey more, just because I feel like the movie was a lot better paced. But I saw that they had the annotated version of the book, so I thought it would be kind of interesting to flip through some of the annotations while the story is still like decently fresh in my mind. Like I read it last July, I think, so I still know some things, so I just thought that'd be fun. Also love the cover of this book. Anyway, my camera's gonna die like really soon, so I'm going to start reading, God, what is this book called? I don't have time to forget the name of the book. This book. I've been reading some of this book, and I will talk to you guys later. Guys, literally have the best news. I have not started this book yet, but I am about to because of what I'm about to tell you. So I've been kind of sad that I don't have the audiobook for this, just because I feel like I'm becoming like reliant on audiobooks or something, but I feel like I always just enjoy books more when I have like the audiobook to listen to like while I'm reading them. Like, I don't know, it just makes the reading experience like that much better. You know, if you haven't tried like reading along with the audiobook, just do it. Like if the audiobook sucks, like maybe don't do it, but I find for the most part, like audiobooks are like good, you know? So I have been sad that I didn't have the audiobook for this one. But the minute that I sat down and I picked this book up, I got the notification from Libby that my audiobook was ready. I was like, mine? Like, it is? You're joking. It was a moment. And I just had to share it because I was literally like, oh, they're listening, they know. But I'm also like so excited that I have the audiobook for it now. Not that this story really has any point, I just thought it was funny. So now that I have the audiobook, I can get into it. Not gonna lie though, I'm very sad that I don't have the Well of Ascension, because if I had the second book in the Mistborn series, I'd be reading that right now. But I'm like, damn, I really want to read that series right now. But I don't have the books yet. The ebook's like $10. I'm not paying $10 for an ebook. And it's not available on Libby for like 3 weeks. So I don't think Libby will be that nice to me today. But yeah, it's fine. I'm gonna read this one. We'll see how far I can make it tonight. I'm just going to read a bunch, see how that goes, and I'll update you guys after I've made like a decent amount of progress in this, so I can like give you some initial thoughts and whatnot. So yes, very excited that I have my audiobook. So I have read 30 pages of this book, and can I say that I kind of love this book, honestly. I think it's gonna be so fun, and I'm enjoying it so much already. I really like our main character so far. She doesn't really like talking to people. She doesn't want to be near people. She knows she doesn't have good people skills, and I was like, me too. But also, I just love the vibes of this book so far, because it follows our main character as she is writing an encyclopedia of fairies, essentially. So she has gone to this small town somewhere in the in Scandinavia, I think. She's going just to like research the fae, or the wee folk, I think they call them, that live there. And we're kind of just, you know, learning about fae and their world, and there are like footnotes that give you like background information, and it all feels so real. I'm like, you could tell me this actually happened, and I'm like, yeah, sure. Also, I think there's gonna be like a little like romance situation, and we haven't met the love interest of sorts yet, but she's talked about him a lot, talked about how annoying he is, and I was like, oh, that's gonna be good. I'm so excited for that. Also, she has like these suspicions about him and like what exactly he is, and I'm like, I love it. Like, honestly, I love it so far. And I'm so excited, because when I picked this up, I was like, this really seems like something I'm gonna like. I really hope I do like it. And so far, I know I'm only 30 pages in, but like so far, It is really fun. Also, I really like the writing style. This takes place in like the 1909 specifically. So it is kind of like, you know, proper English, but it's just like, it's not hard to read or anything, but it is just like, it's worded a bit different, but I do kind of like it. And also the narrator for the audiobook is British as well. So I just feel very immersed in this book right now, and that's very exciting. I'm so glad I'm liking it. I'm gonna get back into it. I'll probably read like a decent chunk. I kind of just wanted to give you guys some initial thoughts and feelings on it. So hopefully when I come back, I will have the same thoughts and feelings on it. So I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Okay, good morning everybody. It is Sunday morning. I have spent this morning doing literally nothing so far. I have started editing this vlog, which is something that I needed to do, so like slightly productive, but no reading has commenced since last night. But I do have an exciting update for you guys on this. But first of all, I have a little package, which I'm so freaking excited for. It's a book, obviously. So I'm just gonna open it, then we'll talk about it, because I need scissors. I never have scissors. So I'm just gonna open this real quick and then we'll chat about it, you know? Oh, it looks so cool. Oh my gosh. Look at this edition of Dracula that I have. Look at this book. Oh my god. I am so obsessed with this. Like, can we take a minute to appreciate this cover art? It is so, I love it. Also, the spine's in pretty good condition, which I like to see. Anyway, I have been looking for this specific copy of Dracula. This is like, I think it was originally printed in like the 70s, maybe? Yes, this was published by Penguin in 1979. And I knew about this cover because in one of the spreads that I was doing in my reading journal for Dracula, I used the cover of this book, like in the spread. And when I printed it out, I was like, oh, that's so cool. And I think when I was talking about this spread in my flip through, I mentioned again how I really want this edition of Dracula, and that finally reminded me to like go look for it, and I found this on eBay. I really want to like display this somehow on my bookshelves. I don't know how I'm gonna go about doing that, but eventually I do plan on getting like one of the skinny Billy bookshelves from IKEA, like when I move into a different apartment, and I'm thinking it could have its own little like square and I can display it on like, I think there's like brackets or whatever that you can put books on, because this cover may be one of my favorite book covers. It's so cool. This is so exciting. I feel like recently all I've been doing is buying like additional copies of books that I already have and I've already read, but I've come to terms with the fact that I'm a book collector as well as a book reader. Good book mail for this morning. I will stop talking about it though, because I feel like I could sit here and look at it for a while though, because it's so cool. Anyway, there's the exciting book mail for this morning. And then I also have another exciting thing, because I actually ended up finishing this book last night. I did indeed just sit down and read the whole thing, which, you know, that's a mark of a pretty good book in my opinion. So I think I'm gonna be giving this book like a 4.5, because it's not quite a 5-star, but it's also not just a 4-star. You know, I really enjoyed this book a lot. I had such a good time reading it. I'm so excited that I've had like 2 really amazing reads this weekend. Like, that's just fantastic. There were so many like really just like lovely scenes of our main character like taking woodland walks, interacting with the little folk, or the wee folk I think they're called, that live there, and all these just like gorgeous descriptions of like the snow and whatnot. And it was so like, I love the vibes of this book. Absolutely immaculate, honestly. I also really enjoyed the romance that was in this book. It was very, you know, like grumpy sunshine dynamic. However, I feel like normally when you get that, it's the guy that's grumpy and the girl that is like the sunshiny one. However, I do like it when that's kind of flipped, because in this case, the guy, he's very like flamboyant, charismatic, he's out there, he's clearly an extrovert. And our main character, Emily, she's very, you know, like studious. She's a serious person. And she's always just like annoyed with him, but not like, you know, seriously. And I just really like that dynamic and seeing her kind of, I don't want to say come to terms with the fact that she loves him, but like it really is her coming to terms with that, because she's not very, you know, focused on her romantic endeavors. She hasn't really had many, but she relents eventually. And I just like the dynamic between the two of them was really fun. There's a lot of banter back and forth. I definitely enjoyed that. I also really enjoyed all of like the information about fairies in this book, obviously, because it really does read like an encyclopedia of fairies. And I really like the way that this book is structured, because you're kind of reading like Emily's journal entries, so you have a lot of like information about the fae, and I do feel like that could maybe put some people off, because I can see how that would be kind of boring to some people if you're not really in the mood to read a book like this whenever you pick it up. However, I definitely really enjoyed it, and if you also like books about fairies, or you just want to it's not like super in-depth information, but there are just a couple of things that were like kind of interesting, and I liked that. The only thing about this book that's really knocking it like potentially half a star is the fact that it really kind of fell off in the last half for me. I was enjoying the first part of this book so much. I feel like I was sucked in really quickly. Like on page 5 or whatever, I was like, I love it, I want to give it a 5 star. The momentum did keep going, but once it got towards the end, I was kind of like, okay, maybe that's good. Maybe we're done here. Like, not in like a, it wasn't awful. It just kind of lost my attention a bit. However, I do really like the way that the story is structured, because you start out with our main character as she is researching fairies, but throughout the book you kind of see her fall into a fairy story of her own. And I liked that a lot, and seeing how she kind of dealt with that. Another thing I really like is there are a couple of like traditional fairy stories that are in this book, just a couple of them. And when they first came up, I was like, I don't know about this one. But actually, I really liked hearing them, and I enjoyed those parts of the book a lot. So if you like fairies and you'd be down for like a cozy fantasy academia type of situation, I would highly recommend this book, because I really enjoyed it. It was so much fun. I also found out that this is like the first book in I don't know if it's like a full-fledged series, maybe there's like another book, I don't know, but there is another book coming out, and I looked at the name this morning, but I've already forgotten it. It's called Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Lands, and it follows like the two primary main characters again, which I'm very excited about, because I'd love to see more of them working together. I'd love to read more books like this, so I'm very excited for whenever that one comes out. I mean, this one came out this month, so I'm assuming it's gonna be a bit, but I will absolutely be picking that up whenever it comes out. So I'm so glad that I decided to pick this book up. Like, it was very spur of the moment. I saw it in Barnes & Noble. I had heard like good things about it. I was like, yeah, okay. It was kind of expensive, because this is like it's a hardcover, you know. And at first I was like, I don't know, but now I'm really glad that I did pick it up, and I think it was worth it. So anyway, there are the couple of updates that I have for you guys today. I don't know if I'm gonna read anything else, honestly, just because like I don't really want to right now. I've read 2 like really good books, but I read them both rather quickly, so I'm kind of just like, I want a break. You know, I might pick up like a graphic novel or manga maybe, but I don't know. We'll just have to see. At any rate, I do think I'm going to work on my February reading journal spread. I think that would be kind of fun. I do have kind of an idea for it. I'm not sure if I'm going to, I don't know how it's going to turn out. We're just going to see. I think I'm going to go downstairs and work on it, which is, it's different. I don't know why, but I've never worked on my reading journal anywhere that's not my desk, so kind of hoping to switch up the location a bit, you know, see how that works, and I'm excited. So obviously I will show you guys that, and yeah, it's gonna be pretty chill. It's very cold outside today. It's literally like 20 degrees. I went out to get my Diet Coke this morning, from McDonald's of course, and my fingers were freezing as I was trying to like scrape the ice off my car. So fun times, but that does give me an excuse to sit in my apartment and not do anything, so it's kind of nice in that way. Anyway, I'll keep you updated as to what I decide to do today. Like, I could get the inspiration to pick up a book, I don't know, we'll just have to see. At any rate, I will talk to you guys later. Okay, so it is actually Tuesday, and I forgot to end the vlog on Sunday, like I always do. So, I'm here to end the vlog. I did not end up picking up anything on Sunday. I actually started rewatching the Twilight movies. Like, I don't know, the weather was just like screaming Twilight to me, so I watched the first 3 movies. And then yesterday, I watched Breaking Dawn Part 1. And if you want to know, no, I'm not going to be watching Breaking Dawn Part 2. That, like, second least favorite movie, you know? Although I can't lie. Not that any of you asked for this review, but I can't lie. When I was watching New Moon, I hated it a little bit less than I normally do. So I don't know what that's about, but it was still, like, Sunday was really chill. I did my journaling spreads, which I'm very excited with how they turned out. I know I only showed you guys me setting up one of them, but I think it's so cute. Here's my February spreads. I went with like a little tea set theme, but like there's hearts on the tea set, and I think it's so cute. I really like how the spread turned out. And then I also did my January wrap up, which I decided to keep black and white, very chill. I didn't end up doing like a title page or anything for January, so I wanted to do a wrap up on all the books that I've read, and I actually really like how this looks. Like, it's very simple, but I'm a fan of just how this looks. So those were the spreads that I did on Sunday. I had a really good time doing them, honestly, because I was just like watching Twilight, working on my reading journal. It was a good time. So I'm just going to quickly talk about the 2 books that I managed to read in this vlog, and then I'll let you go. So I got to 2 amazing books this weekend, and I literally loved both of them so much. So 5 stars for The Final Empire, and like 4.5 stars for Emily, what's her name? Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. Oh, oops. Although I'm considering bumping it up to a 5-star, because even though like there were aspects of this story that kind of lost my attention a bit, I still loved it overall. So I don't know. It's either a 4.5 or a 5. I still have yet to decide. So I loved both of these so much. It was such a good reading weekend. So if you guys did enjoy the vlog, please do let me know down below. Have you read either of these books? If you have, what did you think of them? If not, as always, just tell me what you guys are reading right now, what you're up to, anything you want to tell me. I'm all ears. And yeah, thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.